Hi folks. This is another video in the series concerning Miki's fake documentary, The Main Battleground of the Comfort Women issue. I'll have a link to the others in the description. And we disagree with him because of the deception that he engaged in getting us to participate, us being conservatives in Japan, being myself, Japanese, and a gentleman named Kent Gilbert, who lives in Japan for a number of years, speaks and writes the language fluently. But recently, Mr. Dezaki appeared on a YouTube channel's interview. So I'd like to review some of the aspects of that video with you, in which Mr. Dezaki and the interviewees or interviewers engaged in with this gentleman. He calls us in this video what he's called us in his fake documentary: historical revisionists and denialists. Allow me to explain. We're not denying anything. The comfort women did exist. How they came to be comfort women, that's where we disagree. How they were treated, that's where we disagree. Just because we disagree with your narrative, that doesn't proclaim us to be revisionists or denialists. I like to say we're correctionists. We're correcting the narrative coming from Mr. Dezaki and from the peninsula. He guaranteed, well, didn't guarantee, but he stated when prior to interviewing us that this fake documentary was going to be neutral, right in the middle, and it was far from being neutral. He was rather deceptive when he made that statement. Then he makes a reference to me that I'm a guy in this room, or in a room. This room. This is me. I'm the guy in this room. Now when I go to the other rooms in my house, what am I? A feather? I'm a guy in the other bedrooms. I'm a guy in the hallway, the restrooms, the toilets, the kitchen, the laundry room, the living room, my front yard and backyard. That's me. I'm a guy there, kids. And in my beat up Chevy when I'm driving it, there's a guy. Me. A guy in his room. He goes on to say that we are trying to erase history. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Erase history. A correction, Mr. Dezaki. We're not trying to erase history. We're trying to correct the narrative coming off the peninsula. We're trying to express history as documented by the United States government in the National Archives and the United States military, which counters, disagrees with the narrative coming off the peninsula. So that makes us trying to erase history. No, there were comfort women, but how it came about, that's where the disagreement comes in. Nothing's to be erased here, except for your side. And you know something? We would not want your narrative to be erased. People need to know how you were trying to promote a false narrative on this issue. We should not run away from that. Then he writes something to the effect, states, white Americans, me, white Americans being involved in this issue. Yeah, I'm white, so says he. Really? If you were to compare Mr. Dezaki's complexion with mine, I think I would have a darker complexion, which is rather concerning because he's American-born with a Japanese heritage. I'm American-born with an Italian heritage. So we like to say that the skin complexion of us Italians are Mediterranean brown. Golden Mediterranean brown. That's me, kids. White Americans. Nothing wrong with being a white American, but why are you singling white Americans for something to be negative? Nothing negative about being a white American or any other color American. He mentions in here what he mentioned in his fake documentary, warning Japan about remilitarizing. He calls it remilitarizing. What most of us call it is upgrading the Japanese current military forces to meet the threat coming from the communists in China and coming from the communists in North Korea. As far as Mr. Dezaki and his acolytes are concerned, Japan should remain vulnerable to such attacks and insecurity from those commie nations. Sorry, you're wrong. Prime Minister Abe is taking his nation in the right direction, in which Mr. Dezaki, the foreigner in Japan, disagrees with. And that's what goes on. Why do they ask, why do foreigners get themselves involved? That's the funniest part of the whole video. Link, of course, in the description. Why do foreigners get involved? That's a rather peculiar question coming from these three peculiar people. He's being interviewed in South Korea by two Germans. So what you have now in South Korea, which is a foreign country to Japan, you have Mr. Mickey Dezaki, who's a foreigner. He's American born, even though he has Japanese heritage. When I was in Italy, my four grandparents were born in Italy, but I was still a foreigner. I'm not a foreigner in America. Dezaki's not a foreigner in America, but he's a foreigner in Japan. He's a foreigner where? South Korea, where he was, with those two other foreigners, the Germans. They were foreigners. So wait a minute. They're bewildered that foreigners are getting involved while they are foreigners themselves getting involved? I'm sure they do not see the contrast there at all. Mr. Dezaki, born in these here United States of America. His mother or his parents wanted him to become a doctor. He did not want to become a doctor, so he goes to Thailand to become a monk for a year, a Buddhist monk. Now wait a minute. He speaks and reads Japanese fluently. There are Buddhist monks all over Japan. I know a few of them personally myself. Why did he not go to Japan to go to a Buddhist temple? Why did he go to Thailand? That's a question for the ages. So he finishes being a Buddhist monk and he goes to Tokyo, or to Japan, I think to Sophia University, to get an advanced degree and to make this documentary. So he went from a doctor to a monk to a documentary producer. But you know what he really is? He's dishonorable and he's shameful. And I say this not because of the deception in that video, because in his videos and others, he discredits the United States, the land of his birth. He discredits the land of his heritage, Japan, that's been so kind to him. That's what makes him shameful and dishonorable. All right, folks. We'll see you. God bless you. God bless America. God bless the nation you happen to be in. God bless our good friends and trusted allies in the land of the rising sun, Nihonkoku, Japan, who are going to revitalize their military to the scorn of people like Mr. Dezaki. Until you foreigners out there, keep butting in. Yeah, even us white guys that have brown Mediterranean skin. We'll see you.